Greetings, fellow gorehounds, and welcome back to a Blood Splattered vlog. I'm the Horror Guru.
And I'm Count Jackula.
And today we are going to talk about Hocus Pocus 2. Because it turns out those damn virgins keep lighting those goddamn black flame candles.
Can't stop them.
They can't stop them.
It's all over your TikToks.
I'm just saying, Salem needs to ban virgins or ban candles. One of the two.
No.
They just need to get rid of them. It's bad mojo to have either around.
Yeah. What I'm saying is Satanic Temple, get on it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So for Disney Plus, they decided to make a sequel like 20 years after the fact from the 1993 Hocus Pocus film. And I was originally kind of worried that I
was real worried. Let me put it this way. I was not the biggest fan of the original Hocus Pocus.
Oh, that's right. Gen Xer.
Yeah, Gen Xer. I was not the biggest fan of it. It was one of those, this movie's okay. But, like, the amount of love that it got felt like, whoa, this came out of nowhere. But that's because there were 7-year-olds at the time who saw the movie that loved it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know if you're going to be able to capture that magic again.
Yeah, I was worried about that, too. And I gotta say, I thought they actually did a decent job of capturing that magic again.
I actually think that this movie is actually a little bit better than the original.
Nice. Well, let's start there. Like, what parts of it did you dig more?
Well, it held together a lot better because it was a simpler, more focused plot.
Yeah, I can see that,
in the original one, it's just sort of like, ooh, witches are bad. That's your basic thing that's going on. This one's actually got a story that is all about sisterhood of one form or another. So it actually has this through line.
That theme of sisterhood throughout is really well realized.
Yeah, extremely. Whereas in the first one, it's just sort of like, they're just fighting witches, you know, which is, oh, okay, because they got a lot of other stuff going on. Like, I always loved all the stuff with Binks and
and the cat.
Yeah, the cat and the fucking zombie.
Billy, yeah.
Billy returns, by the way.
Oh, yeah. The Sanderson sisters return. Billy returns. None of the original, like, heroes from the original movie return. It's a whole new cast of main characters. Yeah. But the important ones return, which is the Sanderson sisters.
The Sanderson sisters are all back. And that, I think, is absolutely fucking key. Oh, yeah. Like, if they didn't get all three of them back, it was never going to work.
The thing that makes the original movie work so well, because it could have easily have been a movie that just came out and was forgotten, which is what most people thought it would be.
Yeah.
It's that dynamic between those three.
Yeah.
Really sells it. Like...
Well, it's because in this one, even more than the first one, they got it. They were like, oh no, the Sanderson sisters are the Three Stooges with magic powers.
Yeah. Basically, they're kind of like older women versions of the Three Stooges who are witches who, get into hijinks and try to take over the world, you know?
Yeah. But they're
eating children.
By eating children, but they're really bad at it. Yeah. You know?
To stay young forever. They all come back and they reprise their roles really fucking well. Even though you can tell they're all a lot older than they were.
Oh, yeah, totally.
You know, like they've been through a whole lot of shit since then. Yeah. In their lives outside of the movie. And you can tell seeing them now, but like
it's weird watching going like, it looks like Bette Midler's aged the least.
Yeah, she does kind of look like she has, hasn't she? Like Sarah Jessica Parker no longer looks like the young super pretty one anymore. She looks like just as old as the other girls now.
Yeah. Now she looks like she's a very beautiful middle-aged woman. You know,
and
she's still got the energy that she had in the first movie, though.
Oh yeah,
which I was really impressed with because usually like you get older, like you lose the ability to reach those like hyperactive heights, but no, she kept it.
And I forget her name, but the middle sister, the one with the black hair. Oh man, I feel so bad. She looks like she had like a stroke at some point. Because like half of her face is a little paralyzed. But she still, even with that, slides into the character amazingly.
Still, like, the actress is also like what, 100 pounds lighter or something?
Yeah.
You know, because she was a really heavy woman.
Her and Bette Midler were a lot older than Sarah Jessica Parker was,
yeah.
You know. So, like, it's been 20 years now. Like, they're up there in age. You know? And so it's kind of crazy seeing them get back into the role and do some of the stuff they did in the original movie again, like getting up on stage and performing a musical number. Yeah. And still having, like, the moves and stuff.
Yeah. Or just still doing some of the antics.
Yep.
You know, you could tell. I'm sure they got, like, stunt people for a lot of falling down shit.
Yeah, I'm sure.
there were some times where you could tell, no, it's just these three actresses playing off each other.
It's like they never stop playing the role.
No,
you know,
no.
Like they look older,
right back.
They look older, but it's like their performance just continued right where it left off in the last movie.
Yeah. Everything about the Sanderson sisters is as good as it's ever been.
I will say this: I actually even though I grew up with the original Hocus Pocus movie as a kid, it was on TV all the time, and I watched it all the time. I actually really liked the main characters. The protagonists in this a little better than the protagonists from the original movie.
Yeah, because they're less cookie cutter.
Yeah, they're three teenage girls, and they're kind of like somewhat paralleled between like the Sanderson sisters, but they're not actually sisters, they're just friends. Yeah. At first, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about them, because at first, when you're introduced to them, you know, it's basic teenage girl, like mean girl shit.
Teenage bullshit, yeah.
You know, and when you first introduced to them, but very quickly, it becomes clear that they are more than that. As much as I love that movie, the original characters are not why everyone's endeared to that movie. The character that everyone loves is the little sister. Because the little sister's the one calling out everyone's bullshit.
Yeah.
But like the main guy and his love interest in that movie, like pretty forgettable. Yeah. That's why everyone loves the cat and the little sister.
Yes.
What I also like about it is that it ties more into like the theme of this movie, of the sisterhood theme that you were mentioning earlier. Yeah. Because you have these three girls that are kind of like at odds with one another. They're obviously childhood friends and have been friends forever, but are recently reached this point where they're kind of growing apart from one another.
Yeah, one of them's getting like hotter and popular. Yeah. You know?
And this is juxtaposed with the Sanderson sisters, and we actually learn the Sanderson sisters like origin story.
Oh yeah, it actually opens up with them as young girls.
Yeah.
Which I thought was actually kind of brilliant.
Yeah.
Because it set the tone so well.
Yeah. The children they got to play the young Sanderson sisters.
Oh, they were great.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Like nailed it. Like it's one of those things where like the moment they all open their mouths, I'm like, oh shit. Did they just CGI the other three younger? No, those are actually just kids recreating the performances perfectly.
Yeah. Looked like basically what they did was they just watched the original a billion times and it perfectly impersonated.
Yeah, it did an amazing
the character that they were doing.
I mean, it makes sense. At this point, people could probably impersonate those roles easily because it's been like 2 decades.
Well, yeah, it's like doing a Humphrey Bogart impersonation at this point, you know?
Absolutely, but they fucking nail it. And like that opening with like the Sanderson sisters backstory sets up this whole like, we're sisters in this together against the world.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the Sanderson sisters chose to do that and like
be evil,
you
know?
But the main characters have that kind of journey in this, but to be good.
Yeah.
To be sisters against the world together for good.
Disney did not know what they had made. They had no clue what they had made.
Well, they just thought they were just making like a quick little children's Halloween romp.
Yeah. Quick cash in. Quick holiday cash in.
You know, it ended up not doing well when it came out. But then on the Disney Channel, it did really well.
Yeah.
Like kids watched that every year and it became a staple for everyone that grew up with it. To the point where now like it was viable to make a sequel.
Yeah. Because especially like within the last like 4 or 5 years where everybody who was really young when that came out started talking about how much they loved it.
Oh yeah. Well, now you go like to Halloween parties and you'll see like women in their 40s dressed as a Santa.
Exactly. And they actually make the obvious drag queen references.
They do. There's a point in which they go to a costume contest for the Sanderson sisters and they lose their own contest. Like they're fucking Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
And like one of the competitors in the contest is a group of drag queens, which is the most perfect acknowledgement of another area in which the Sanderson sisters are popular.
Yes.
Among the queer community.
Yes.
One thing that I was also a little worried about with this movie, and it does kind of do it, but it's not overwhelming, is I was a little worried that it was just going to be a collection of scenes that are just referencing the original movie. Like, remember this? Remember that? And the movie does kind of do that.
It does those, but they're not irritating.
Yeah, they're not irritating. And also, they do things different enough to where it feels like its own thing at times.
Yeah.
Like, in the original movie, there's a point in which they only have one broom left. And so the girls have to grab whatever the fuck, like one grabs a vacuum cleaner.
Yeah.
In this movie, they recreate that joke, but the punchline is a little different in this one.
Yeah, the punchline is a little different, and it actually ends up being a plot point.
Yeah, it actually ends up tying into the plot in a way the original joke didn't.
Yeah.
So it's actually even more relevant. They have some similar beats. You know, like there's a point in which they get trapped by the teenagers, just like they do in the first movie, but it's a different way they get trapped.
It's a different trap, yeah.
And the way they get out of it's different. different than it was last time, so like it plays out a little differently. But it's the same point structurally in the movie that it was in the original movie.
Yeah,
so
yeah. It has
you
the
can see
same
those
like
beats.
it has the same rising and falling actions, but like the context is different.
Yeah, and also like just having the main characters have a completely different plot among themselves. Like in the original one, you have like the guy who likes the girl and he's the out-of-towner.
Oh,
and that's
that's right.
That's kind of like the core plot they have here. Whereas here, I'm way more invested in these three girls consoling their differences and defeating the witches.
It just felt more natural.
There's also a major difference between these main characters and the original main characters, but I'm going to leave that for the spoiler section.
Yeah.
That's the big difference between this and the original movie, and it's really cool. The differences are stark enough to where it doesn't just feel like the same movie.
Correct.
Like having Billy come back, but his mouth is still free as it was at the end of the last one. So Billy can talk in this one. So you get a completely different Billy performance now, because now he's actually able to communicate with people and like be himself.
He's actually getting mad at people.
Billy's back, but it's not the same old hijinks.
It's different hijinks.
I also love like some of the new additions. Like they get the guy from Werewolves Within, whose name escapes me. He also voiced Swamp Thing on Harley Quinn.
Yeah, I can never remember the actor.
I can't remember his name, but he's in this movie. He's kind of the character that's kind of at fault for everything that happens in the movie. This one bitch, right? It's because of this one bitch.
It's just one bitch, but black guy.
Even though he is that character, I kind of loved him.
Well, yeah, because like it's one of those, he did the wrong thing with very good intentions.
This like combination of this guy who comes across like this charlatan who's just like trying to make a quick buck off of merchandising all this bullshit, but is actually a true believer and kind of a low-key magician himself.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. It's
very that character's a lot of fun.
It's like child-friendly Anton LaVey. I don't know what else to call it. Like, you know. Even though I will make the argument that his whole plot makes no sense.
Oh no. His motivation to plot makes no sense.
No, I'm like, okay, all right. I'll get to it more in the spoiler section.
Yeah.
But I'll say it here for people who have seen the movie. Why did he wait so long?
Yeah, no kidding. like, did he need maybe?
It shouldn't take that long to find a virgin. Is all. I'm saying.
Yeah. Unless, like, I guess he needed a full moon on Halloween or something.
Oh, it had to be on Halloween. Okay, maybe that's it.
Yeah, maybe that was it.
Yeah, maybe that's why he waited.
That's all I've got.
Okay, if that's it, he needed a Halloween full moon specifically, and that was the one time it happened. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Otherwise, didn't you just need a full moon, dude?
Yeah. Like, why did you need to wait 20 years? Like, whatever. If you liked the original movie, you're probably gonna dig this because it hits a lot of the same beats, but different enough. And does a lot of updating that I think is kind of necessary with the original movie.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Right down to the fact that it's kind of cool to see a Hocus Pocus story where it's not just all white people.
Yes. Yeah, that is.
It's kind of
nice.
You know? It's also nice to see them acknowledge that, like, hey, the witch trials weren't a good thing.
Correct.
Like,
correct.
You know, it's kind of nice to see that acknowledged in this. It's on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So
it's on Disney Plus, about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Worth watching.
Yeah.
You like the original Hocus Pocus, you'll love this.
Yeah. It won't blow your mind, but it'll be a fun time.
Yeah.
And with that said, let us move on to the spoilers.
Man, maybe another way of putting this plot is it's very, very, very dumb Disney-fied The Craft. Because
you have these three girls that are friends and they're kind of at odds with one another, but they're all kind of into witchy stuff, right?
Yeah.
Two of them try to like perform like a just dumb little fun ritual in the middle of the forest, which is the forest where the Sanderson sisters lived.
Yeah. They do witch stuff because they live in Salem.
Yeah, but what they don't realize is that the guy they buy all their witchcraft items from, I think it's Sam Richardson. I think that's his name.
Sam Richardson?
Yeah, I think so. I'll put a correction here if I'm wrong. He has given them a candle that they don't realize is a black flame candle.
Yeah.
So when they go to perform their ritual, they end up lighting the black flame candle. And given that they're teenagers in a Disney movie, they're virgins.
Yes.
So they end up lighting the black flame candle. Now, my whole thing was like, okay, so you needed them to do it because they're virgins and it wouldn't work for you because you're no longer a virgin. You're very much an adult at this point.
Yeah.
You've had to sex. But why did you need to wait
29 years
to do this?
Yeah. Like I said before, I think it's because it needed to be a full moon on Halloween, and that only happens so often.
But anyway, they end up summoning the Sanderson sisters, and the Sanderson sisters want to get not only the ultimate power by using the forbidden spell in the book that they're not supposed to cast, to the point where the book does not want them to cast it. The book rejects them trying to cast it. And they also want to get revenge on the ancestor of the, was it priest? Was it like a pastor?
He was like the local cleric guy.
Yeah.
You know.
Who was the person who basically got them kicked out of town in the first place when they were little kids. Because they find out that his ancestor is currently the mayor.
Yeah.
So they're like, we're going to get revenge on them. And surprise, surprise, that mayor's daughter is one of these three girls. So they have to stop the Sanderson sisters before their friend gets sacrificed in this whole endeavor. Now, from there on, you get kind of beats like the original movie, like how in the original movie there's that scene where first become resurrected and then they go and like find buses and they're shocked by buses.
Yeah.
They have similar scenes like that, but inside of a convenience store where it's like, oh, the doors move on their own and shit like that, and like, oh, hey, these bottles say youth on it. Are they filled with the souls of children? You know? So you have some of the similar hijinks, but slightly different jokes with them.
Yeah. And what really sells it is just that the way Bette Midler and Sarah Jessica Parker and them just fucking play it. They play it so earnestly.
Yeah.
Like they 100% believe these.
Absolutely. Then the movie like follows a similar structure, but where the major divergence starts to happen is when it becomes clear that one of the main characters is a witch.
Yeah.
Like, not just playing around with witchy stuff.
She is a witch in the way that the Sanderson sisters are witches.
And the way we find, and in the beginning of the movie, when we see the Sanderson sisters' origin story, we find out that the way they discovered that they had powers was that the eldest among them, Whitney, turned 16, and when they were banished from the town, they ran into the Forbidden Forest, which is a powerful spot with a lot of magic that witches can suck the power out of. And they encounter another witch who's basically like, oh, you have a whole lot of power. You are a witch. You've turned 16. Here's a book. Here's a magic book. Like, go ahead and spread your witchcraft.
Learn how to cast spells and eat children.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's the same forest that these girls went to cast all these spells. So not only did they end up resurrecting the Sanderson sisters, they also awakened one of theirs inner power.
Yeah.
So over the course of this movie, this character starts to learn that not only does she have witch powers, she can use these witch powers to combat the Sanderson sisters.
Yeah.
With the help of her friends, because as the book says, having a coven and sharing power is stronger than just having your own.
Just having it yourself. Yeah.
Is that she can channel the power with her friends the way Winnie does with her sisters.
Yeah.
And she can get more and more powerful. And the big divergence between these two groups is the Sanderson sisters get more and more apart as the story goes on because of their own greed and and issues and pettiness. Whereas the main characters become closer and closer together in the struggle and like putting aside their differences and their things and then combating the Sanderson sisters. And then the other thing that really diverges from the original structurally is the ending.
Yeah.
The original movie had a very good versus evil ending. The bad guys are vanquished when the sun rises and they disintegrate and blah, 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 blah. This one has a much more emotional ending. It's much more of an ending where they're defeated by ideology as opposed to being defeated by combat.
Yeah.
And that ending is Winnie successfully achieves the power spell that grants her all the eternal power. Like at the end of fucking, what was it, Aladdin?
Yeah.
Where, like Jafar gets all the power and shit like that. But the price for that power is that she must lose the thing she loves the most. And as both movies have established, there's only one thing she cares about beyond staying young, and that's her sisters.
Yeah. The other two.
So they basically are killed as a result of her gaining this power. And instead of having like a huge climactic face-off between the witches or whatever, she has this moment where she's just like, you guys have the book, please, can you...
Yeah, you gotta reverse the spell.
Reverse the spell, save my sisters.
There's no point in me having ultimate power if those two are gone.
And the book ends up showing them a spell that allows that to happen, but in order for that to happen, the sisters aren't brought back to life for her. She
has to die.
She has to die and go be with her sisters.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot more of an emotional, gut-wrenching ending than the more climactic, bombastic ending of the original movie.
Yeah, which is kind of good because like for this kind of sequel, you definitely kind of you want somehow the Sanderson sisters to be okay, even though they're the bad guys.
Well, because we've reached a point with the Sanderson sisters culturally where they're more beloved than the main characters are at this point.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So having this kind of ending that kind of puts them to rest, well, kind of, because there is a tease at the end.
There's a tease at the end.
If they want to make more.
If we want to make a third one, we can.
We can. There's still a black flame candle left. If they end it here, it puts a nice like capper on their story, especially since they gave them such a sympathetic intro. Finding out that before they decided to become evil witches and eat all the children, they were literally just ostracized for being weird.
Yeah, they're literally just weird kids. Now, they're all kind of brats.
Oh yeah, they're brats. They're brats, but at the same time,
they weren't good kids.
At the same time, they were living in like a puritanical village with like the biggest bitches ever.
Yeah.
Like, it was one of those, like, if it was just a movie about the young Sanderson sisters, I'd be on their side.
Oh, yeah, totally, yeah.
But because they become older and start eating children, no, they're bad.
That's the line, you know?
Because they become obsessed with eternal youth.
I still can't believe that the Roomba was a plot element.
Yeah, so unlike the original movie where it's just a one-off gag that she's
on a vacuum cleaner.
She's on a vacuum cleaner, and then you just see her for the rest of the movie on the vacuum cleaner. In this movie, when we see her get on the Roombas and fly with the Roombas, there's this extra joke of like, oh, they have a mind of their own. So the Roombas kind of like follow them around like little gremlins.
Yeah.
And it's kind of adorable.
Yeah, it's like they're familiars or something. And it turns out that witch powers could be stopped by circles of salt.
Yeah, but here's the other part. They make it very clear later on in the movie. It wasn't just the salt. It was the salt imbued with her magic.
With her powers,
yeah. When the main character like touched it, she imbued it with her magic and it created a warding spell. And so like the Roombas show up when they're trapped in the salt circle
and sweep it up.
And sweep it up. And I was just like, oh my God. They turned a callback joke to the original movie and made it an actual plot point in this. So it actually has more justification to be here.
Yeah. Look, we're only 2/3 of the way through this movie. They're not trapped in this circle. We know they're getting out. Okay, movie, let me have it. How you gonna do this?
It's like,
and then little Roombas show up.
This is the same point in the last movie where they get trapped in the freezer. So they're gonna make it out.
They're gonna get out. You know? It's gonna be okay. They're gonna come out. There's gonna be icicles on them. It'll be hilarious.
Yeah.
You know,
kind of liked that like humanization of the sisters at the end. Like they still got to go and go away, but I kind of like that. Like, oh yeah, the one thing they love is their sisters, and they'll give up the power if it means being with their sisters. And I kind of like that.
No, it's a good story,
you know, while also having the main characters, finally get together, I also love
their friendship. I
also love like one of the things that divides the main characters is one of their friends has been spending a lot of time with her boyfriend. And as like happens with friend groups, sometimes like people start dating people and spending less time with friends.
Yeah.
It strains friendships and whatever. But like the other two girls keep feeling like the boyfriend is an asshole, and he is like a jock, and kind of a dumb jock.
Yeah.
But like I like the twist that it turns out like he wasn't trying to be an asshole. He was just oblivious to the fact that
he's just an idiot.
Yeah, he was just oblivious to the fact that the things he was saying could be taken as like criticisms, and he was just like oh no, I mean you guys play with spells and stuff like that. Like you were just witches.
You're just witches, right? Like, pointing out how people are weird and then making jokes about it. That's being mean.
Yeah, and he's like,
no, it's not. It is.
I got a lot of people I need to apologize to. So like I kind of liked the himbo turn of the boyfriend. Yeah, that was a nice little twist. There are two characters that I love, even though they're pieces of shit, that I kind of wished returned here as like old men.
Oh.
And that's the two bully characters from the original movie. I kind of wish they had showed up as like two old guys.
Just like, two dudes. Like Bulk and Skull.
Yeah. Like they're still in town. They're still kind of deadbeats.
Yeah. Sometimes the protagonist is this thing that's interchangeable.
The original Hocus Pocus always felt like that to me.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely. The main character always felt like he was just supposed to be every little boy watching that movie. Now, the mistake I think they made with that, they made the main character a young boy that's an audience surrogate, not realizing that the actual audience for that movie is young girls.
Yeah, that's what I always thought was weird about it.
If ever there was a movie where the movie could have been improved big time by making the main character be the sister.
The original Hocus Pocus, absolutely. Yeah. So the fact that they made this one all about girls,
it worked better.
Oh no, woke culture has gone too far.
Oh no, it's a group of girls and they're diverse. There's a black one and an Asian one. Oh, it's so goddamn woke. Don't pretend. Okay, I just want to say this. If you're the kind of person who unironically calls things woke garbage, you never cared about Hocus Pocus. Don't lie to yourself. No. Don't lie to yourself. Hocus Pocus was dumb girl shit to you when you were a kid. Just
Oh,
Don't pretend like you ever cared about it. It's like it's like the fucking people who are like, oh, this new She-Ra is woke garbage. Don't tell me that you actually cared about She-Ra. You fucking like jerk ass.
Oh yeah, no. As a young boy, like She-Ra was like, that's girl stuff.
It's one of those like I believe I
secretly liked it. You know.
Well, the thing is, there are definitely guys who grew up loving She-Ra. I just think that the diagram between guys who say woke garbage and guys who grow up loving She-Ra are two separate circles.
Oh yeah, yeah. Unless you put that closet case fucking circle in there, then there's a connection. You know.
Yeah, Hocus Pocus. It's fun. It's not going to blow your mind. It is a fun children's movie and a fun follow-up to a movie that is kind of a cult classic among a whole generation. So.
Yeah, so if you like the original Hocus Pocus, you'll probably really like Hocus Pocus 2. The only problem that I can think of, and I got to really stretch for it, is that not as many of the song and dance numbers have to do with witchcraft.
That's true.
That's like the only difference.
That's true. That's true.
In the first one, you're like, how do they know the Screamin' Jay Hawkins song? You're like, okay, well, at least it is about witchcraft.
I will say that the first song and dance number in this did feel a little forced. Like, oh, like people remember them singing and dancing, so we're just going to have them do it for no reason here.
Yeah.
Whereas the second one felt more natural because the second one...
Well, that's when they're back up on a stage.
Because that was the justification in the first movie. It wasn't like a musical.
Yeah.
It was just that there was a scene in which they actually used the stage.
I was actually really afraid when the Sanderson sisters first appeared and they do the musical number for no reason.
That it was just going to be
I was afraid it was going to be a musical.
Yeah, me too.
Like, ooh, that could fall really flat.
The original movie, all the musical numbers were plot relevant. You know, they're bewitching the crowd to make all the parents stay at this party so that they can get all the children without dealing with the parents. That was the first one. And then later she sings the song to lure all the children to come to them. And those are the two big like song and dance numbers. The first one in this, where they first wake up and they just start singing The Witch is Back, that felt a little bit like, hey, remember they sing and dance? That felt a little forced.
Yeah, that did feel forced. I also appreciated the joke where they're like, haha, now our dancing zombies will search for our quarry, ha ha ha, and they're flying, and it's taking a while because all the zombies are doing a dance number.
Yeah.
It's like, this is taking a while. Dumbest fucking jokes.
Yeah.
The stupidest jokes. That one that's in the trailer. Quick, spread out. And then Sarah Jessica Parker's like...
That joke still got me. Even though it was in the trailer, when it happened in the movie, I just lost it.
Yeah, you're just like, God damn it, why is that funny?
The comedic timing of all three women is just top-notch.
Yeah, really good.
So anyway, my fellow Gorehounds, it is currently available on Disney+. And where can they find you, Count Jackula?
Oh, you can find me on Twitter at Counting Jack. That's me, Count Jackula, Counting Jack on Twitter. And you can find me on Twitch at Count_Jackula. That's also me. And you can find me on Instagram. I don't know why I always have a problem remembering Instagram. Probably because this is the one that doesn't have a T.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Yeah. It's like Twitter, Twitch, Instagram.
Yeah.
You know? Also, it's got that extra syllable.
That's true.
You know?
It does.
Yeah. Satanic Jackula, you can find me there, and but I'd love to see you while I'm streaming because we do all sorts of weird shit. Trying to trying to figure out a new streaming schedule. I think at this point I'm just being lazy. But
I'm having the same problem with making Blood Splattered Cinema episodes right now.
Yeah.
It's like trying to adjust to everything, but now that like the big upheaval in our lives has kind of calmed down, I'm like, I really should get back to making that episode.
Yeah. It's like I could go back to work, or I could sit in this couch.
I cannot take a shower, wear my sweatpants, and be depressed on the couch.
Or, yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. We're going to sit here and eat Doritos.
It's all bullshit, man.
Oh, but no. Seriously, it'll be good. It'll be good to see all y'all. Mm-hmm. So how about you?
Y'all know me. I'm the Horror Guru. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, or Twinstagram. To put a T on it. Just look up the Horror Guru or Blood Splattered Cinema and I'll be there. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell so that you're notified of my videos immediately upon their upload. And if you would like to help out either of us more directly, be sure to check out our Patreon pages. And remember, if you decide to go the Patreon route, even $1 a month can go a long way. And if you made it this far into the vlog and would like to comment below, and please, be sure to comment below. Be sure to comment below using the hashtag Roomba Saves the Day. Hashtag Roomba Saves the Day. That way I know, that way Jack knows, the whole world knows, you watch this vlog all the way through. And with that said, my fellow Gorehounds, we're going to go back to watching some proper horror movies for this channel.
Yep. Seeing as how it's now October.
It's now October, and we just did 2 vlogs on 2 children's movies, which were really good, and we enjoyed them.
And they're Halloween-y.
But it would be nice to talk about something that actually gets under your skin.
Yeah, we'll get back to the real shit, kids. Don't worry about it.
And with that said, my fellow Gorehounds, peace out, and I'll talk to you later.